Hello, Sharon Preston here, and today's topic is the perfect handgun for the ladies. Stay tuned. I get asked all the time, Sharon, what should I buy? What's the perfect gun for me? I always get phone calls from guys that say, what kind of gun should I get my wife? You know what? Get her education. Or if it's a lady, get yourself some education first. There's so much that goes into purchasing that handgun. Until you study the physics of the gun, how your hand works, trigger reset, recoil management, and follow through, it's impossible to figure out which is the perfect gun for you. The purpose of the firearm is the most important reason to buy it. What are you going to be using this gun for? Home defense, camping, horseback? Are you going to be carrying it in public? But did you realize that as the handgun gets smaller, the recoil goes up? They say, I just want a small little gun. I don't want one of those big semi-automatics. Oh, the recoil's just terrible. But what you don't understand is the cartridge doesn't change. If these were all the same caliber, 9mm, which they're not for those that are really studying the make, model, and caliber of these guns. Let's say that they were all 9mm. The spring inside the slide, which is part of the action, is what absorbs the kinetic energy from the firing sequence of the cartridge. The spring length is the same as the barrel length. So as the barrel gets shorter, the spring gets shorter, which means that the absorption of kinetic energy is much less. So where does all that energy go? It goes right into your little hand. If you can't manage the recoil on a semi-automatic small gun, then your follow-up shots are going to be, let's say, less than accurate. Then I hear, should I get a semi-automatic or a revolver? The trigger press on a double action revolver is really, really heavy. So can you press that trigger consecutively to the rear without misaligning your sights? What are sights? Exactly. So we need more education. Do you know what recoil is? Do you know what sight alignment, sight picture? Do you know what caliber is? Do you know what rifling is? Do you know where the muzzle is? Do you know where the chamber is? What's a magazine? What's a cylinder? What's a spur? What's a hammer? Did you know that the grip is one of the most important fundamentals there are? How do you hold this thing? Resetting the trigger forward. I've got really little hands. I've got to be able to seat the gun properly in my hand with the second joint on my thumb well on the side of the gun. That gives me a limited amount of index finger reach to reset that trigger. So it's important that you know what the length of the trigger is. Yes, you can get your gunsmith to put different triggers in it, which is awesome. So what I always have ladies do at the gun counter is figure out what the reset is. Empty, clear. There's no ammo in this room. The way you do that is you rack it, press and hold, rack it again, and then see where your reset is. Very short on this Glock 17 Gen 4. Short reset. If you don't reset that trigger forward, it won't fire again. What happens in a critical dynamic incident, we lose small motor skills due to the adrenaline dump. We're pressing, but we're not resetting, and we get in big trouble. Train to reset that trigger forward. Your life depends on it. So know what your trigger reset is, how long your little finger is, and if you have too much finger on your trigger, you're going to be pulling your gun one way. If you don't have enough finger on your trigger, you're going to be pushing your gun. Get just enough finger on that trigger to where you're not pushing or pulling your handgun to the right or left due to the gun being too big for you. Can you field strip your gun by yourself? It's important that you are able to field strip your own gun and clean it yourself without help. So as you can see, there is a lot more that goes into purchasing a handgun, but most importantly, can you manage the recoil? So what I recommend is if you choose a semi-automatic for your first handgun, make sure it is a full size. Shoot with that full size for a year and then graduate into a compact or a subcompact. Having multiple guns is in your future. It's kind of like shoes. You can't have just one pair. I started out with one. Yeah, what happened to that? So bottom line is, gentlemen, get your ladies education. Ladies, shoot a bunch of different handguns. And then with educated hands, find an instructor. If you're local, I will go with you. That will go with you to the gun store. Remember, learning how to shoot a handgun is a journey. It's not an event. It takes time to become proficient with your firearm. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, be safe out there. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure you share them on social media. You never know who could really use this information. And also, please subscribe and then click the little bell so that the next time I get another bright idea, you'll be the first to know. Thank you.